I'm going to say it right now. It's Stormy Monday, to quote the Allman Brothers.
Tuesday's just as bad. So
yeah,
be
well,
careful,
hope not.
Well, I mean, you're not getting me psyched for the rest of my work week.
I was outside all day yesterday, standing in the rain. Yes, today it's equally
so you were like
miserable.
You were like a fool in the rain.
I was like a fool in the rain.
You were like a fool in the rain.
I knew you were going to go there. Off the great in through the outdoor.
You know,
which,
and
again,
it's not
we've
great.
talked
It's
about.
not
it
great.
is.
It's not great.
So when I was out of college, okay, so it's now college, 1987. I remember somebody calling me and saying, "You're never going to believe this. Kevin Costner is on campus," and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty." Because Kevin Costner's been a big deal for 40 years. I want to say.
Was he a big deal in '87 though? Because I mean,
I think so.
What was a breakout? So. What's a breakout Costner role?
What's the breakout? Is it Field of Durham? Is it Field of Dreams? I don't know what came first.
Running with Wolves.
Dancing with Wolves. Dances with Wolves. He was also, as you know, he was in The Big Chill. A lot of people don't know that, but Kevin Costner.
He was the dead guy.
He was the dead guy.
Did he ever show up as the dead guy? This is weird because
only in the unedited. Right. It's another excellent point
deep
by
cuts.
you. Deep cuts. But in '87, he was down there for something, and got me thinking about this day in history. He was filming what I happen to think is a great movie. Gene Hackman,
No Way Out.
Bang.
Sean Young. I mean,
and her
incredible.
That was like the
Yuri.
Yeah. Well, thank you. He's Yuri, and why do I bring that up? Because this day in history, Yuri Gagarin, first man in space. So give it up for Yuri. Sputnik. Nice job of connecting the dots, by the way.
And we have to pay homage to that soundtrack for The Big Chill. That was like the first movie soundtrack that I think people decided to go out and either see a movie because of the soundtrack or went and bought the soundtrack whether they saw the movie or not. No,
give me a Big Chill year. Was it 85?
I'm going to 84 you just because I can.
Just because you can. I'm looking it up right now on the Google machine. Keep talking as we do this.
Well, while you do that.
Great job by you. 83.
83.
Yeah, that's a terrible job by me.
And then who were the ladies in that film?
Jo Beth Williams. Now you'll know Jo Beth Williams from
Poltergeist.
From Poltergeist.
So we're speaking of galactic stuff here. I mean, it's all coming together, right?
It's all coming together.
Yuri steps into space. Poltergeist is first of all, I mean, right now we should go to the lake because I feel there's something there for us.
You're not supposed to stay away from the light. Stay away from.
Go.
And that old dude in that movie, he was a freaky looking dude. Like he was just scary. Remember, he comes to the door like he's death or something. And
Poltergeist was kind of scary, but think of that run of space, like space, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then obviously all the Star Wars stuff that was just getting going late 70s.
Sure. The extraterrestrial thing.
E.T. Your boy E.T. And then
were you a Star Trek guy growing up, by the way? Because I was not.
What do you think, guy? Was I a Star Trek guy?
There's
not
no
even
way.
close.
There's no
not
way.
even close, dude. Come on. When we grew up, and we're basically the same age, you came home from school. I mean elementary school. I mean middle school. This is before you and your Croton thugs just started terrorizing people in the neighborhood.
Right.
You'd watch after school stuff, and it would be Brady Bunch reruns, into Partridge Family reruns, into maybe a little I Love Lucy. But you also had a Lost in Space.
Sure.
With Will Robinson.
Danger Will Robinson. And the guy, it's funny you say that, but the star of that show, the father,
Mr. Hand.
No. That's the whatever, the professor or whatever his name was, the scientist.
I hated that show.
But no, the actor's name was Guy Williams, I think was.
Guy Williams.
Yes, I'm going to look that up as well.
Guy Williams. Don't know a Guy Williams. I'm having trouble remembering that. I remember thinking that show was so annoying and just the goofy, the robotics that were being thrown at us as where Guy it was Williams. All going.
Great pull, by the way. Dr. Smith was the guy that, June Lockhart, of course, being the mother.
Lockhart from Lassie fame, by the way.
Sure.
I think she was the mother on Lassie. I mean,
Great,
where have
you
we
know.
gone here today?
Now here's one. Here's for extra credit. This is a
Okay.
hard one, but you know the name, okay? The kid that hung out with Dr. Smith, like, and the robot. What was the kid's name in real life? The
In
tough.
real life?
Yeah, this you're gonna be like, you know what? I knew that.
What else was he on? What else was he on?
Not
I mean,
see, that's not a lot, unfortunately.
so how
but
would I know what his name was in
No,
real life?
because I'll tell you why.
Butch.
His name was Bill Mummy.
Bill Mummy. Okay.
One M, actually two M's in total, but one M in the middle. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. It's just, one of those things.
So if you think about what's space as we knew it then, but space as we know it now, is clearly technology, right? It's clearly and it's maybe micro technology, nanotechnology. It's also control of the internet and control of everything that is, I think related to kind of next generation technology. And right now, I mean, it seems like everywhere we go, we're fighting China. And right now, it seems like, if you read the newspaper today, whether it's the sense, I mean, Journal's doing an article today about how China not only is not backing down from saying that they are on equal terms with the U.S. In the new world, but that the U.S. should get the what out of the way as it relates to their sphere of influence. They will reunify with Taiwan. They will do what they want with the internet. Markets don't seem to care about this. Do you care about this?
I guess not. If markets don't care, why should I? But don't you think they should? But I said this back in I want to say when Trump started the whole steel, and we're going to protect steel, and all this stuff with China. I think that's got to be 4 years ago now, or 3.5 years ago. Well, it was a big deal then. The market didn't care then. Why should the market care now? I mean, there's so many things it should care about. This is it. It's got to be in the top 3 of the list. Yet it looks right past it.
Well, it's a case where it's really hard to figure out what the trade is outside of some of the big Chinese tech firms have been under the gun. It's interesting that today Alibaba is up 10% because they've effectively apologized to the regulator and paid an enormous fine of $2.7 billion and said, you know what, you were right. So the stock rallies in a big way because nobody wants to see them take on Big Brother. Does anybody want to see how the U.S. and China go toe to toe in this new galaxy? I have no idea. And I don't think the markets have any idea. And I think, as we've looked at nanotechnology, again, news flow today is pointing at the semiconductor sector, the impact here of supply chain issues, really where onboarding and onshoring a lot of this comes, because again, this is an issue of strategic national importance. And I think it's going to be something that gets louder, not softer, Guy.
I think you said it a couple of years ago that chips it's this generation's oil. I think that's accurate. And just before we go, because I've always they say they got to pay a 2.3 billion, whatever it is. Fine.
Yeah.
Where does that money go? Do you ever think about that? Like, what vacuum does that go in? Like, what black ops thing does that fund? I'm just curious. Send your thoughts, because I'm curious.
Yeah, I have no idea, but you can be sure that when David Bowie was singing about ground control to Major Tom, he had no idea what he was talking about. And that arguably, I think that's one of the most overrated songs
I agree.
Of all time.
And I think it's the only rock song that has the word commencing in it, by the way, just as an aside.
Liftoff. So Rocket by Def Leppard, you're not going to be surprised to hear me say, is a great song that includes rockets and space and things like that. Rocket Man by Elton John, great song. I mean, anything else you got out there? I mean, there's got to be something.
I gotta believe there's some Aerosmith song that speaks of rockets and what have you, or some Kiss song. But off the top of my head, I can't. And since time is short, I don't want to delve too deep into this.
Ramones, Rocket to Russia, Guy. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.